Hey guys, I know I'm like a video making machine today. It's been a while, and actually, there's a good chance that for the next couple of months, I'm not going to be very available to actually be doing much videos because I need to focus in on some things going on with my business and stuff like that. So anyway, yes, but someone messaged me just recently about just asking, like how. I'm curious, how do you deal with your mom now on a now like on like a daily basis kind of thing? And it dawned on me that actually it's August, and so it actually marks 1 year since I started this channel. And and I remember that I won't forget that time. It was at 1 a.m. On August 14th last year, how I just was just in so much pain and just hurting. And so I just made this really bold decision to speak my truth and just put it out there, and how that turned into this whole channel. And to now I think I've got over 200 subscribers, which is cool. And gosh, my videos have been seen like 15,000 times or something like that, because I've only produced like 65 of them. It's insane. But yeah, this last year has been absolutely transformational and amazing. And gosh, like how to even talk about it. Where I am now versus where I was a year ago is a huge difference. Huge. And I'll talk about how I think about my mom and my family now at this point, because at this point I have pretty much lost all communication and contact with them. I think last year marked the 1 year in August. Well, it was really June of 2014 when I went no contact with my mom. So last year, I think in August, was when it started to kind of hit that. It passed the 1 year and things like that. And that was really painful. And at that time, I was still in touch with my siblings a little bit, but at this point, that's changed. And I was still, I think, somewhat in touch with my dad too. And at this point now, I think now that it's been 2 years, I think it's really settling in and hitting them that this is really serious. And I think that they're going through their grieving, and I think that they're watching my mom continue to suffer. And so, they don't want to be around the drama. They want to minimize the drama as much as possible. And that's just what happens, when someone is, with them and such. So yeah. So for me personally, just knowing that weight and knowing that there's not communication with them at this point and things like that, honestly, it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Yeah. And here's why. It's because, when I started this this channel, I really wanted to commit to just really taking more action in my healing, and not just, think about it and journal about it or talk about it with my friends. But I'm like, I want to do something about this. I want to work through this, And so, I want to build that life and not just keep thinking about it, So I think I hit last year at that point. I had done enough work that I hit the point of just being able to take more action and get some cool results. So, yeah. So frankly, the biggest reason why, there's a couple of reasons why I'm in such a healthier place when it comes to dealing with the emotions of like my family, and especially basically losing them at this point. First off is that I have really, really worked and continue to maintain on a daily basis, a sense of myself. and a sense of appreciation for who I am, a sense of true belief and trust that God has my back, that I have, and a real trust and appreciation in the people who are in my life, who I know have my back, and they're not going to be there for me like a family, exactly, because they're friends or, and such, but I know that they're there for me if I ever need them, which is cool. But another big part of it too is, I'll be honest, is that I don't need them quite as much. Like, I need them, but in a healthier way, like now, because I've just done a lot of that work on myself where I've, like when I'm really emotional and I'm really upset, I can process it in a healthier way than I ever have before. So when I need to reach out to them, it's rarely as big of a, like, I need you as it used to be. It's very rare now that I have like emotional breakdowns with them and stuff like that, like I used to. It's more of me being like, yeah, got that text from my mom, pissed me off, and here's how I'm dealing with it, and it's, it's tough, but it is what it is. And anyway, how are you? How are things going with you? Like it's much more calm and much more, something that doesn't have as much power in my life as it used to. And the biggest reason why I know without a doubt is because I'm really learning to value and love myself more. And I'm also been doing things like getting into more of the science and biology behind how we experience trauma and why we experience trauma the way we do, and how our brains think and process the way they do, and how the way that thinking triggers the emotions that it does and stuff like that. So I've been geeking out on all that stuff, which has been fabulous because I've been developing just like this daily like meditation, affirmation, visualization of like, this is who I am. This is what I believe. It's really truly all in our hearts, and it's really truly in our minds and our hearts, like how we want to be, how we want to perceive things, and how we want to be perceived. And a year ago, where I was in a place where I wasn't quite believing that yet. Like I wanted to, like I was getting there, but I wasn't taking the action to do that stuff. And so I have been. So that's been a big part of my life. The other part of my life too that I've been doing is just filling it with good, positive, healthy things. Like, frankly, I'm too busy to often like sit around and mourn my family because I'm too busy living what I think is a really great life. Like I started taking improv classes in November of last year, and it definitely took me a few months. It wasn't something that just immediately I fell in love with, or I even thought that I could do, but I stuck it out because there was just something in me that was like, you are not going to be a weenie. You are going to go and you're going to figure this out. You're going to have fun. You're going to laugh. You're going to be ridiculous with people. You're going to get to know new people. And so I have developed this whole cool community of people that I absolutely love, that are quirky and zany and funky, artsy people, like me, who are also ridiculously talented and witty, and we have fun and we play. And I feel like at times I feel like the little 12-year-old in me that didn't get a chance to play because she was too emotionally hurt and burdened with her family situation is getting out and getting to play, and it's so fun and it's hysterical. And who cares if I'm 39 at this point and doing it? I'm having a blast. And there are plenty of people who are older than me in improv that are doing it too. I think it's like, I'm capturing what I was like, as a kid. I'm living that out now in some way, and it's fabulous and fun. And I'm around a lot of great people, and at improv, actually, you build kind of like a family kind of like a little family, because doing improv is very emotional and very, it's a very much a team experience. So you do kind of build that team, which is cool. So yeah, so that's been great. The other thing too, I think that's been helpful is I'm knowing who I am and I'm making actions towards that. I finally got back into a spiritual community for the first time in years. I have been, kind of outside of that for a long time. And, I'm in this wonderful little group that's spiritual, and it's a really healthy it's really healthy spiritual practices that really meet and match where I am and what I think. And so being around those kinds of like-minded people has been really great. And they're just very grounded, healthy people that are very much kind of on the same level as me of if I'm having drama, if I'm having problems, if I'm grieving over my family, and feeling like a victim of my situation, that's for me to deal with within myself, and that's for me to like trust and work with God and allow God to reveal to me how to heal that, or for God to provide me that comfort and that assurance that like He's got my back and I can move my life forward, and I can heal, and that I can trust in a much bigger picture in my life. And it's amazing to have people in my life who are like that too now, in a way like that I haven't had in a long time, and that I can have just a really healthy, a much healthier sense of relationship with them, and such, where like, we're there to support each other and such. But again, I'm not being dependent on them, and things like that. So for me, I've learned that I love my family still. That has never changed and never will. I love each and every one of those people. I love my mother, and I wish only the best for them, truly, and where they're at. But the more I inhabit myself, honestly, the more I'm enjoying life, and the more, every day, like, I don't think that much about them. But when I do, it's much more peaceful. And in those moments where I do feel that guilt that kicks in because, I'm not there for my younger siblings like I always wanted to be, and I know that my siblings in many ways are suffering, because they're still very much enmeshed in the family situation. I don't feel as much guilt anymore because I know it's not my responsibility to save them. The only thing I'm responsible for is to inspire them. And even if I'm not in communication with them right now, I have to trust and believe that just like me, like they're gonna have their own options and responsibility to work through this stuff too, just like I did, or am doing. And, and that their path, they'll need to figure it out, and they'll need to work through it. Because you know what, here's the other thing too, being a part of this community with you guys has really taught me, that has helped me to also really see just how normal this is for thousands and thousands of people, that like what we're struggling with is a normal thing. It's just not talked about. It's just not, it's not made sexy on TV, or social media. People want to ignore it and avoid it. And that's a big issue, of course, when it comes to, when you think about just mental health in America and all of that, like how great would it be? I mean, like, would our moms be much more open to dealing with their emotional problems if there wasn't such a stigma on a cultural level, still, about like having, BPD or something like that, I mean, that's why, honestly, I am so honored when people who do have BPD who are getting treated, like, will actually pop on my channel and actually make comments about it and talk about their story. And that's why I always have to make sure I remind them, like, look, I'm not talking about you. I promise. Like, your kids are not going to end up like struggling like I have, because you're working through your stuff, and that's amazing. And I just can't do anything but applaud you for that, you know, like, so that's the other thing too with my family, is that, like, you know, I see that they are victims in all of this too, on their own level and in their own way, you know. But again, how do we deal with our own victimization? Do we sit and wallow in it, or do we heal and take action, you know? And that's what I'm doing, you know. And so this last year has been great, you know, because honestly, those 60 videos came with a lot of thought and a lot of deep reflection, and that's all helped me to move forward with my life too. And also too, kind of that accountability of, like, you know, if I'm going to create a channel called Inhabit Yourself, then better be doing that. So that's been really cool too. But yeah, so honestly, here's kind of like, I'm just going to kind of explain kind of emotionally what I go through probably like in a day. And I wake up in the morning, and some mornings, every morning is different, you know, like that first initial feeling, like I'll either feel peaceful or I'll have a sense of dread, you know. And I'll have a sense of dread because I know that my head and my heart are in a state of fear and insecurity, you know. And a lot of times that is based out of just waking up going, oh my God, I don't have a family. Like, oh my God, like, I don't have that support. And I know then, like, you know, but there are also mornings where I wake up and I'm feeling awesome, you know, and I'm feeling really good. And I feel like, and I feel that love and security around me and within me, and that I'm just kind of aligned. Again, I'm inhabiting myself, you know, but there are mornings, many mornings, where I don't feel that way at all. And I know it's my responsibility to change that. And so now I have a real morning regime, I guess you would say, where I wake up and first thing I do is I put on like my workout clothes, and I walk down to my rec center, and I'm listening to like positive music and listening to and then as I'm doing, you know, weights or cardio or whatever, like I am listening to an audio affirmation that's reminding me of, you know, that I am loved, that I am strong, and that I can trust the world. I can trust the people around me, that the world is good, you know, and that, you know, not everybody is screwed up and, you know, and evil, you know, or whatever, you know, that our brains go to, and that I can see that, like, while people are broken, that it's their choice, you know, but that's not my choice, and that's not my choice today, and that's not my choice in this moment. And so what really happens during those mornings is it really allows me to become present into right now and into this moment. So, and it's so fascinating, because when I do that and I become present and I really am focused on this moment and realizing nothing's wrong with this moment, like in this moment, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm okay. In this moment, everything's fine. Like, I feel kind of like, it's kind of cool, but it's like this flood of like love and hope and support comes into my life at that moment. And that's how I know that I can continue on with my day. And I feel energized from that morning and such. And then, you know, and then through the day, then I'm busy with work and busy with, you know, now I get a little distracted because I'm busy with my, you know, chatting with my improv friends on, you know, Facebook Messenger, and, you know, texting friends to make plans, you know, for the weekend, and, you know, doing things like that. And so, but, you know, grief will kick in a variety of ways, you know, like I'll have moments where, like, if I'm popping on Facebook, you know, and I see, you know, one of the very, very few cousins that I have connections with still, you know, is happy with her family, you know, of course I'll think about mine, you know, And what I try to do is really have, I've built enough, I've done enough healing, I've done enough work where now, like, when I think about my family, when I think about my siblings, what I try to do is just pray for them and just send them a blessing, and be like, oh, there's my cousin with her cute family and pictures of her with her parents. And it's like, I think about my siblings and like, God, you've got them. Like, just continue to take care of them, continue to be in their life, and, things like that. And then when I start to feel that grief of like, I wish they were in my life. I wish I had my siblings in my life. I wish I knew how they were. I wish I knew what was going on and all that kind of stuff. I go, God, I'm just going to trust and relax in this and just trust that, at this moment, you're at work and everything's going to be okay at some point in my life, and it may not be today. And, and I'll be honest, I'll even think about like, even if I never get to talk to them again in this life, like it's, there's eternity, after this. So, so that's kind of the things that I think about, or I release it, or I also will go, you know what, this is really hard, but at the same time, I'm so proud of how I'm growing as a person in all of this, how I am, I'll think about like the things that I'm proud of that I'm doing in my life, the things that I'm becoming that, I think someday, if my siblings do ever want to get back in touch with me, they'll go, wow, like, it's really cool how she's grown. Like, wow, that's pretty impressive, and maybe that is something I can achieve too, so anyway, so a lot of times, that little tinge of sadness will be there and be in my life, but it's something I can definitely manage, and I can also change my focus from, and focus back into my work and think about like how I really am okay, and even if at times when I still don't feel that way, like, that I can go, you know what, I just got to keep going, and I just got to keep trusting that things are going to continue to work out, things are going to continue to happen. And in other times too, what I need to do is just distract myself, by calling a friend, or Facebook messaging someone, or by watching a 5-minute YouTube video that makes me laugh, or things like that. And then the rest of the day, it's just, really focusing in on just having, like what's next, like what's next, like, okay, cool. Like I've got like this week, I've got 2 improv performances. That's awesome. And, and I, stopping for a moment in the mirror and being like, girl, look at you. Like you're so much stronger and healthier. Look at how you're getting better, and things like that. And it's also too, like really just making sure that I understand how fear and insecurities, like those thoughts and lies are affecting me, and to manage them and just, and push them out of my life, and just keep focusing on moving forward with my life. And what about nighttime? Because I think nighttime is really like always like kind of like the toughest. I'd say nighttimes and weekends are often toughest for me, because that's when things start to slow down. You got more time to relax, and that's where with my family, when I start to hurt, I have and I start grieving or feeling that grief and that loss again. I actually have a list of bookmarks that I've saved on my internet browser of just different articles and different videos of people talking about how they've overcome their grief from those situations, or just reading things that remind me of like, this is why this is toxic, and that's why I can't have it in my life. or I'm really actually created a folder recently on success stories. And that's what I'm reading, is trying to read like almost like every other day. I'm rereading or reading a success story of someone who has overcome their emotional stuff, and overcome their background, overcome the things in life. And, and just being reminded that like, I am just as capable. I am just as strong. It is completely up to me how I want to deal with the challenges in my life. It's completely up to me how I want to view the life, how I want to view the world. How do I want to view the world? How do I want to view life? How do I want to view relationships, and how do I want to keep moving forward in a healthy way, in order for me to really continue to go after what I envision every single day for myself that I deserve, which is, to live, to wake up, and, every morning next to a man who loves me and accepts me for who I am, and who isn't bogged down by his own emotional past, but has also either learned to work through it or be healthy enough in himself, because he just happened to be one of the fortunates that had a grounded, great relationship with his family, that I, spend that day doing what I'm already doing now, which is, like spending the morning working out and just really being reminded of just and experiencing and feeling that love and support that's all around me, even if it's not coming from a specific group of people, but it's coming from, within me and God and, and the people in my life. But I don't have to depend on them for that. Like, I already have it in me, and working out, and then spending the day doing what I'm doing now, which is, helping people out in their own businesses, doing things like that. And then spending those nights, just enjoying doing the things I want to do, and enjoying the people in my life, and enjoying the activities that I love, and just realizing like that I am so blessed and I am so grateful for what I have, and I feel like that's the other thing that I do a lot of the day, is focus on being grateful for now and appreciating what I have now, and not focusing in on what I don't have, but focusing in on like, I am so grateful that I am healthier now than I was a year ago. I'm so grateful that I am able to recover from feeling sad about my family today in a matter of seconds or minutes, as opposed to before. Like, look at me, I'm getting better. I'm getting better at this. And, and being grateful for all the cool opportunities that are happening in my life, all the cool moments of comedy that come into my life, or people, or just little things, and just being like, gosh, I am so grateful. Like, for me, love and security and support isn't necessarily as much anymore through the form of specific people in my life. Like, I don't need to have a mother to do that in my life. I have it in so many other ways, I have it in myself. And while, yes, I will always want a mom, in my life, and I will always want my relationship with my mom to get better, at the same time, like, I also accept that that's just sometimes how life goes. And that's how life goes with so many other people, and that's okay. Nobody's life is perfect. But they're all opportunities that give us a chance to grow and to become healthier and to become, and to see what we're made of, and I think that that's what this last year's been about, is me seeing what I'm really made of, by taking actual action and seeing cooler results happen, I know that the person that I was a year ago who was making that video at 1 a.m. did not think that I would be where I am today. She hoped, but I don't think she realized that I would be where I am today. And that's pretty cool, and it's just going to keep, I just truly believe it's just going to keep getting better and better. And the reason why is because I'm getting better and better, like, as a person. Like, my mindset's changing. I'm much more positive and much more hopeful about life. I'm much more accepting about life. Like things that used to bother me just don't have as much power in my life as they used to, you know, and so now when I think about my family, it doesn't have as much power as it used to. So yeah, so there's honestly, you know, I think about my siblings, I think about my family every single day. But the amount of pain or power or grief that I experience, is typically pretty minimal, you know, and oddly enough, it's working out. It really is, you know. Yeah, you know, I think to inhabit yourself after you come out of a family from BPD that's untreated, you change your mindset in ways that, you know, that's just unbelievable. Like it's just not you. It's not, you know, who you are now. You know, and your mindset has to change drastically, you know. But it will, and it can. You just have to keep working it out and keep trying and keep moving forward and keep having hope and keep being grateful for what you've got and appreciating what you've got and trusting and relaxing in the process too, and going, you know what, like the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, you know, whatever works for you in your own world is going to keep working it out, and things are going to keep happening. It's just got to keep staying open and keep moving forward, you know. So anyway, yeah, so that's my 30-minute talk about that. So thank you for all your support. Seriously, guys. I mean, you guys have been there for me at very key moments when I have struggled this year, and I'm so glad we get to keep doing this together, you know, and thank you for all your questions and thoughts and comments, and just keep them coming, you know, and let's just keep doing this, and hopefully, you know, when I look at year number 2 and you're looking at year number 2 in your own journey and stuff like that, like we can all just be like, wow, like grown. That's awesome. It's amazing. You know, like I'm just continuing to live and being who I am, and that's beautiful, and it's an amazing thing and stuff. So anyway, all right, you guys take care.